You guys ever wondered why tall people tend to die young, but short people tend to live longer? Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Damia. Me and my group will be answering your set questions. First of all, I will be explaining about the super tall people, or their conditions is called gigantism. What is gigantism? Gigantism is a rare medical condition that occurs in children and adolescents when the body produces excess growth hormone before puberty ends. Growth hormone is normally secreted by the pituitary gland, a small pea-sized gland located at the base of the brain, which plays a crucial role in regulation growth, metabolism, and other important body functions. In cases of gigantism, a tumor or enlargement of the pituitary gland often causes the overproduction of growth hormone, which accelerates the growth of bones, muscles, and connective tissues, which leads to abnormally tall stature. Children with gigantism grow significantly faster than it appears, and if left untreated, they can reach over 8 feet. Can you imagine that? In addition to excessive height, they may experience enlarged hands and feet, prominent facial features, headaches, vision problems, joint pain, and enlargement of internal organs, specifically the heart, which can lead to long-term health complications. Because of these conditions, it affects multiple systems in the body. Early detection and medical intervention are critical to help control growth and reduce associated health risks. Treatment may involve surgery to remove the pituitary tumor, medication to block the growth hormone production, or radiation therapy, depending on the severity of the condition. Other than gigantism, we also have acromegaly, a related condition that occurs in adults after the growth plates in the bones have fused. While both disorders are caused by excess growth hormone, gigantism primarily leads to increased height, whereas acromegaly causes thickening of bones and enlargement of organs, but not increase in stature. The condition is extremely rare and is often linked to genetic mutations or other endocrine disorders. It is observed more frequently in boys than girls, and ongoing medical monitoring is essential for managing both growth and long-term health outcomes. Now, I will show you one of the few people that had this rare condition. His name was Robert Wadlow. He was born in 1918 in Alton to parents of average height. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, all of whom were of normal stature. Wadlow is recognized as the tallest person in recorded history, reaching up to 8 feet 11.1 inches, which is equal to 2.7 meters. Can you imagine being that tall? He weighed around 199 kg, which is far from average weight of a man. Although his growth was normal at birth, he grew rapidly, 30 pounds by 6 months, 62 pounds by 18 months, and 8 feet 2 inches by age 8. He continued growing throughout his life due to excess growth hormone. Wadlow suffered from acromegaly, a rare hormonal disorder caused by overproduction of growth hormone from the pituitary gland. This condition resulted to gigantism. At age 12, doctors diagnosed him, but treatments like surgery or medication were limited at the time. Robert Wadlow sadly passed away due to the complications related to his conditions, but remains a symbol of gigantism. He holds the Guinness World Record for the tallest man ever, a title unlikely to be broken today because gigantism is now treatable. But what about the very small people? Their conditions are called dwarfism, also known as skeletal dysplasia. It is a medical term that covers hundreds of conditions affecting the growth of bones or cartilage, resulting in short stature. Adults with dwarfism are usually less than 4 feet 10 inches, which is around 1.47 meters. Different parts there are several common types of dwarfism, which our friend Ahmed will explain further. And it may also lead to health complications such as weak muscles, joint pain, spinal issues, or ear and respiratory problems. It can be genetic, resulting from DNA mutations, or sometimes inherited from their parents. Other causes may include growth hormone deficiency, malnutrition, or being small for gestational age. While dwarfism is rare, it can affect anyone. Early diagnosis and treatment are important to manage growth and prevent or reduce associated health issues. People with dwarfism can lead full, active lives with proper medical care and support. Here is an example of the shortest recorded person alive. His name was Chandra Bahadur Dangi. He was born on November 30, 1939, in the remote village of Remkholi in Nepal's Dang district. He grew up with 5 brothers and 2 sisters, none of whom were as small as he was. Dangi is recognized as the shortest adult man ever verified, standing at only 21.5 inches, which is equivalent to 54.6 centimeter. Isn't that pretty challenging? And he only weighed about 31 pounds. Despite his extremely small stature, he was able to live independently within his community and perform daily tasks to support his family. He suffered from primordial dwarfism, a rare form of dwarfism that affects overall growth and typically reduces life expectancy. Remarkably, Dangi lived until 75 years old, far surpassing expectations for his condition. He had limited access to medical care for most of his life, relying on simple home remedies for minor illnesses. In 2012, Guinness World Records verified him as the shortest adult person in history, bringing him international recognition. Dangi sadly passed away on September 3, 2015 in America Samoa due to pneumonia. He is remembered for his resilience in dignity and inspiring life story, leaving a lasting legacy as a symbol of courage and national pride for Nepal.
Now, let's talk about the types of dwarfism. There are 4 common types of dwarfism, such as Laron syndrome. Laron syndrome often involves the body's hormone or the growth of hormone pathway. Next is skeletal dysplasias. Skeletal dysplasias is what people usually think when they hear dwarfism. This involves the bone and the cartilage growth rather than the hormones. We also have primordial dwarfism, a group of rare conditions where the baby is born extremely small and remains small throughout life. Examples include Shackle syndrome and MOPD. Lastly, we have osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as brittle bone disease. It causes short stature because the bone break easily and don't grow to full length. Focusing on Laron syndrome, let's talk about the advantages of Laron syndrome itself. So the first one is the growth hormone paradox. Most people think that more growth hormone means more health and vitality, but in Laron syndrome, we see a paradox. Because their receptors are broken, their bodies never get the signal to grow. Scientists found that this missing signal actually acts as a biological shield. By not growing big, their cells don't age as fast as ours. It suggests that the same hormone that helps us grow in youth actually speeds up our decline when we are older. Next, we have the cancer shield. Cancer needs a hormone called IGF-1 to act like gasoline for tumor growth. Because people with Laron syndrome have almost zero IGF-1, cancer cells simply don't have the fuel for them to divide. Furthermore, when their cells get damaged, they are much more likely to self-destruct, a process that called as apoptosis, rather than turn into a tumor. This is why, in a famous 22-year study, almost 0 people with Laron syndrome have developed cancer compared to their relative. We also have metabolic miracle. Usually, if a person is obese, they are at high risk for a type 2 diabetes. Many people with Laron syndrome tend to carry extra body fat, yet they almost never develop diabetes. This is because their mutation makes them super sensitive to insulin. Their bodies can clean sugar from the blood much more efficiently than ours. They stay metabolically healthy even when their body weight is high. The last one is cellular self-defense. At a microscopic level, Laron syndrome turns on protective genes. Their cells are better at fighting off oxidative stress, which is the daily rusting of our DNA. Their bodies naturally activate pathways that are usually seen in people who exercise intensively or follow strict diet. It's as if their body is permanently set to maintenance mode rather than growth mode. You might ask, if they don't get cancer or diabetes, why don't they live up to 150 years old? The research shows that while they are being protected from the big killers, they still face other human risks. Their high cholesterol can eventually impact the heart, and in some communities, there are higher rates of non-medical death, like accidents. However, the key takeaway is their health span. They spend a much larger percentage of their life free from the chronic disease that usually make old age difficult.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asha. I want to talk about physical and structural factors. The first point is the square cube law. As a person grows taller, their body weight increases faster than the strain of their bones. This extra stress can make very tall people more likely to have bone or joint problems. That's why extremely tall individuals are more prone to fractures or skeletal issues than average height people. It's like building a really tall Lego tower. The legs at the bottom may not be strong enough to support the weight above. This principle helps explain why bones alone may not be enough to handle the load of a very tall body. Next is structural overload. Our bones evolved to support average heights, so extremely tall people put more pressure on their skeleton than it is naturally designed for. Over time, this can lead to long-term problems like weaker bones, joints not in the right position, or long-term pain. Even routine activities like walking or climbing stairs may be more challenging. The third point is higher injury risk. Taller bodies have a higher center of gravity, which makes balance harder to maintain. This increases the chance of falling or getting hurt, especially during daily activities. It's similar to standing on a chair. The higher your center of gravity, the easier it is to fall. Walking on uneven ground, running, or carrying heavy objects can be more dangerous for taller individuals. The last point is joint problems and osteoarthritis. Extra body weight puts more pressure on the knees, hips, and other joints that carry weight. When these joints carry more weight than they are before, the soft parts in the joint start to wear down faster. Over years, this can make moving around harder, more tiring or painful, so extreme height puts extra stress on the body. Bones are under more pressure, balance is harder, and joints wear out faster. These factors together help explain why extremely tall people tend to live shorter lives, while very short people usually don't face these problems. By understanding these physical and structural factors, we can see how body size affects health over a lifetime.
Hi, my name is Tengku Anis Patricia, and I will explain why super tall tend to die younger compared to super small from a cellular and cancer-related perspective. Cancer begin at a cellular level. Super tall individuals have larger bodies and organs, which mean they have much higher number of cells. Since each cell has a potential to undergo mutation, having more cells increases the chances that some of them might be cancerous over time. In contrast, super small individuals have a smaller organ and fewer total cells. This limits the number of cells that can be treated, which slower the overall probability is related to cell division. As a result, super small individuals are generally at a super tall individual require more cell division throughout their lifetime. Every time cells divide, then it must be replicated, and despite repair mechanism, error can occur. Over time, this replication error accumulates as a mutation, increase the risk of cancer. Super small individuals require fewer cell division to growth and tissue maintenance. With a fewer replication cycle, mutation accumulate more slowly, reducing the likelihood of cancer and development and contributing to a longer lifespan. Frequent cell division also affect telomeres, which protect the end of chromosome. In super tall individuals, higher rates of cell division cause a telomeres to shorten more rapidly. When telomeres become too short, chromosomes become unstable, leading to DNA damage and genomic instability. This instability makes cells more prone to becoming cancerous. On the other hand, super small individuals experience slower telomeres, shortening due to fewer cell division. This helps preserve genomic stability and reduce the risk of malignant transformations, supporting longer survival. While growth hormone also play an important role, super tall individuals are typically exposed to higher level of growth-related hormone, such as insulin-like growth factor 1 or IGF-1. IGF-1 stimulates cell proliferation and suppress apoptosis, which means damaged cells are more likely to survive and continue dividing. This environment increases the cancer risk that may contribute to earlier mortality. In contrast, super small individuals generally have a lower growth signaling. This allows the apoptosis to function more effectively and eliminating abnormal cells before they become cancerous. This protective mechanism helps reduce cancer risk and support longer
So the
lifespan.
cardiovascular system is responsible for transporting oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. At the center of this system is the heart, which functions as a mechanical pump. However, the human heart evolved to support an average body size. When a person grows extremely tall, the heart does not increase intentionally the same rate as body height, leading to long-term cardiovascular stress. So we're going to the first point, which is the fighting gravity. So we have the picture, we have the diagram, which is we have the heart and the body with a heart and the brain. So in extremely tall individual, the heart must pump blood over a much greater vertical distance to supply the brain. So this means the heart has to work against gravity more intensely than in an average or shorter person. Each heartbeat must generate higher pressure to ensure enough oxygenated blood reaches the brain over time. This contract extra effort increase cardiac outlet and accelerate well on the heart muscle. For the second point, which is the hydrostatic pressure. So, as head increase, hydrostatic pressure in the lower parts of the body also increase. Gravity causes blood accumulate in the legs, a condition known as bullet pooling. To counter this effect, the cardiovascular system maintains higher blood pressure to push blood back toward the head and brain. While decompensation is necessary, long-term elevated blood pressure damages blood vessels and increase the risk of hypertension and stroke. So we go into the next slide, which is we have the difference between normal heart versus the thinner heart. So we go into the first image. This image compares normal heart with the thinner heart. So in the normal heart, the heart wall are thinner and elastic. This allows the chamber to fill with an adequate volume of blood and pump efficiently with each contraction. And for the thinner heart, so in extremely tall individual, the heart adapt to long-term overload by thickening in the muscular wall. This condition is known as cardiac hypertrophy. Although this adaptation initially helped the heart generate strong contraction, it reduced the internal chamber size. As a result, less blood is pumped out per beat, making the circulation less efficient. So we're going to the next point, which is the longer circulation distance. In addition, to increase the workload, taller body have a longer blood vessel. This increases resistance to blood flow, meaning the heart must pump harder to move blood through the circulatory system. When it's returned from the legs, becomes lower, increasing the risk of swelling, varicose vein, and blood clot formation. So in contrast, shorter individual have a shorter distance between the heart and brain, lower hydrostatic pressure, and shorter blood vessel. This factor reduces cardiovascular strain and allow the heart to function more efficiently over the time. So in summary, extreme height plays exercise, mechanical and physiological stress on the cardiovascular system. The heart compensates by working harder and thinning its wall, but this adaptation eventually increases the risk and shorten lifespan. Shorter and the other hand allow the cardiovascular system to operate within the safer biological limits.
It must have been boring listening to our explanation, but it's okay, it have come to an end. So to conclude our explanations, very tall people tend to die younger, not because of height itself, but because extreme height is often caused by excess growth hormone due to medical conditions like gigantism. This hormone overload causes continuous growth of bones and internal organs, especially the heart, leading to serious health problems such as cardiovascular strain, joint damage, and higher risk of diseases. On the other hand, very short people usually do not experience excess growth hormone. Their organs grow more proportionately, placing less stress on the body. On the other hand, very short people usually do not experience excess growth hormone. Their organs grow more proportionately, placing less stress on the body. In some cases, reduced growth hormone activity may even protect against certain illnesses, allowing them to live longer lives. Overall, lifespan is influenced more by abnormal growth processes than by height alone. So, it's pretty good to be short sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. That's all from us. I hope you enjoyed our explanation and understand what we wanted to tell. That's all from us. Thank you.